I was devastated when the PG Unleashed RX-78 came with stickers. I immediately had to get myself some third-party waterslide decals, but for many of you out there, you're probably questioning, can you just use water? Well, I ruined the decals that Bandai provided with the MGEX Strike Kingdom Gundam from doing that, because they would just peel off straight after. So today, I'm going to bring out these guys. I know some people might be thinking these are not necessary. I'm going to show you what happens when you put them on and off and compare the differences. Mr. Mark Setter, as it says here, firmly adheres decals. This is definitely useful because if you just use water, there is a high chance that the decal will just rub off as soon as you touch it. Mr. Mark Softer, as it says on the title, it softens the agent for decals, which means that it allows the decals to wrap around edges easier. Because if you don't have them, again, there's going to be like airspace and it's easier to just come off. Let's demonstrate on this shield right here from the RG Astray Red Frame. I chose this one because it's dark colored. You'll be able to see the differences between the sticker versus the decals that I'm going to test on. Oh, I also need to mention some tools that will help you with putting on the decals. Of course, you need water. I just have a little bit of bowl here and then put them on eventually. It does help if you have a cotton swab. This just allows you to take off the water and liquids easier. And then the tweezers just helps with sliding off the decals. So what I'm going to do is only put the Mark Setter onto the top right, only put the Mark Softer onto the top left, bottom left I'm going to do as water only, and then bottom right is both of them together. One thing I also want to mention with the Mark Setter, sometimes it settles to the bottom, so you want to shake it a bit just to make sure it's evenly distributed. Okay, so the way you want to do this, I have the decal right here. You want to put it in the water for 5 to 10 seconds. So once the decal has been there long enough, you can take it out of the water. I recommend also having a tissue on hand so you can dab off the excess water. I'm going to try put it on the edge. This is water only. I'm trying to push it, but there's a little bit of an air bubble. This is not ideal, but we try our best. Okay, as you can see, it's moving a lot. I've already screwed it up. So again, if you make a mistake, just dap it with water a bit, and then this should allow it to just move. I'm going to try put it into the bottom left. Okay, so now I'm happy with the position. I get the cotton swab and then I get rid of the excess water. You can see if you don't put on the setter, it moves a lot. Okay, so that's the first one done with only water. Let's move on to the one with setter. Something that I've noticed is that there's different ways to apply the Mark setter. Some people like to brush the actual plastic before they put on the decal, whilst others, they use the decal, rub it against the bottom of the brush and then put it on. It's all the same, and all you have to do is to just brush it onto the area you want to apply. I'm going to choose this bit over here, and then once I do this, I want to put the decal exactly on that place. Move it into your ideal position. Try to put it on the curvy bit. Okay. I can already tell that the setter is making a huge difference. It's not coming off and moving around as easily. So let's say I'm happy with this position right here, and then just going to take off the excess setter. One thing you want to be careful of is do not just leave the setter on. It's going to make the plastic look a little bit different. Wow, I've noticed that the setter has made so much more of a difference. It's barely sliding. Considering that I only used water from the MGEX Strike Kingdom Gundam, I super regret not getting these tools because it makes it so much easier. The softer has a completely different effect. Let's see what happens when you put this on. My expectation is you apply the decal first and then put the softer on top. It will just make it so that the wraparound bit is a little bit easier to put on. It won't have any air bubbles. So again, I'm noticing that it's quite difficult to put it onto the edge part. So hopefully the softener will make an effect. I'm going to try to put it on the most steep angle just to show you that without it, there's going to be a huge air bubble. What you want to do is just take the softener and then just dabble the top a little bit. Not too much. And wow, I can already see the impact of the softener. It's immediately acting upon the decal and making it so much easier to deal with. It just wraps around. So for you guys that only use water and find it extremely hard to get the decals over the edges and corners, this is the way. Now I can see it's completely wrapped around. I don't want to touch it too much more because softer makes the decal more delicate. Get your cotton swab, wipe off the excess part of it, and you should be good to go. You can see the benefits of each one separately. Let's see what happens when you put them together. And I'm going to take out the setter and just dap a little bit on. That should be enough. Which allows me to put on a decal right over the top. And then noticing that there's a little bit of an air gap, so the softener would definitely make an impact there. Just wipe off the excess of the setter first. And then this is just going to slightly break down the decal so that it can go around those edges a lot better. It's wrapped completely around. Just dap off the excess. And there we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this dry for a bit and then do a rip-off test. One of the reasons I chose to use this shield is because, wow, this one here is a sticker and these are the waterslide decals. I think you can tell the waterslide decals look so much better, especially under lighting. One of them looks like it's painted on, and the sticker, it's so obvious that it's there. And imagine on a 400 Australian dollar kit or a 300 US dollar kit that you have stickers on a PG Unleashed kit. That's not ideal. It might be a bit hard to tell on camera, but the results, not that clear to be honest. You can see that the mark setter and mark softener together, I haven't cleaned it up fully. There's a little bit of residue, but that's not a big deal. Let's see the water only. If I rub it, is it going to come off? Not easily, but you know, if you're a little bit clumsy, you'd be, oh, there we go. It just came off and it also ripped in half. So that's not looking ideal. If you use water and you play around with it a little bit, it might come off. Okay, mark softener. It is sticking very well, but it probably has the same effect as not setting. And yeah, it comes off as well. Not as easy, but it still does. Moving on to the other side, mark setter, it does the job, it sticks. Might have a little bit of an air gap for other parts. If I'm just doing it up and down like this, nothing is happening whatsoever. So if you use the flat part of your thumb, I'm going to rub it as hard as I can, and it's not even coming off at all. So you know the mark setter does its job well. Wow, I really have to scrape it to get it off. And then finally, the one that we use both together at the same time, it definitely looks the best. Compared to the sticker, it's absolutely night and day. If I want to try to take it off with my finger, nothing is happening. So just compare what happens when you use water versus with mark setter and softener. It's basically essential at this point if you have an expensive kit, because it means the waterslide decals will basically stay on forever, and this is not even involving top coating. You see, I'm just going to rub it non-stop, nothing is happening. I'm going to start scraping it with my thumb, still nothing is happening. The results are very surprising to me, because if I knew this, I would have got the mark setter and softener from the beginning. Would I recommend these two products? Absolutely yes. If you want to put on waterslide decals on an expensive kit, I highly recommend it. And yeah, here's a look at what the decals look like, waterslide and sticker, and it is night and day. I'm not even exaggerating. If you look closely, you can even see the outline of the sticker, especially against colors like red. It's so obvious. The waterslide decal wins every day of the week. Hope you guys learned something. Feel free to give it a like if you did. Comment down below any questions you might have. I'm going to answer them. And subscribe if you want to see more. I'll see you guys later.